Arcadegeddon is here. Arcadegeddon on, baby. And is it worth it? Is it worth your time? Is it worth your money? Is it worth your life and soul and everything important to you? I'm not so sure, but I'd love to talk to you more about it. Hi, this is Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw, and we're talking about Arcadegeddon. Arcadegeddon on! How many times am I going to say it? Probably a lot. This was talked about in PlayStation's State of Play today. I got it on early access. It's $20 and all right, let's just dive into what this is. First of all, this is a third-person shooter roguelike game where you are going through instanced runs in this world of increasing difficulty, trying to get a higher and higher score. It has a loot system that is specific to each run. So what I mean by that is you will find a gun in a run. Gun in a run? Hey, you'll find a gun in a run, and that gun stays in that run. If you die with it, or if you just end your run, there's only one way to get out of there. Well, okay, sorry. Perhaps there is an end state, but it feels like the runs just keep going and going and going. I got pretty far into a run. I'd say my run lasted maybe a little over an hour, and yeah, it was still going. So in that instance, that one run, you will find weapons, a bunch of different kinds of weapons. I don't know how many kinds, but I swear there must have been, 20 guns or something like that, 20 different guns that you could pick up. All of them kind of felt like variations of things you've seen before, of course. There's a melee weapon, there's a baseball bat. There's an assault rifle, a shotgun, something that's kind of like a plasma shotgun, something that shot out little plasma blades. Everything in this world, by the way, is very EDM inspired. It feels like the creators thought, well, what if you were playing a video game at a David Guetta concert or something like that? I recognize the concept is you're saving this old arcade, and your uncle has created this new game, Arcadegeddon. Am I saying that right? Arcadegeddon it on! Okay, I've been playing this for a little while. I recognize now that I'm a little loopy as I'm kind of talking about all this stuff. So a game that came out recently that you might feel this is somewhat similar to is something like Returnal or perhaps Hades, where you're going through a run. Once you start a new run, you start with absolutely nothing, and then you find weapons as you go. They're in these very shiny, beautiful chests that you find throughout the level. There's blue and pink and gold. I don't know if there are better ones than gold. I think gold was the best looking one I found. Oh, then there was a boss chest when you beat a boss. So there are a lot of different weapons. Some of them you can pick up ammo for, and some of them are super powerful weapons, and it's very clear you use it till it's gone, and then you have to pick up something else. You have 3 weapon slots, so you can cycle through different weapons, and you can say, hey, this really, really good gun, I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to use it when I get into a tough encounter. While I was playing for a while, I would say a majority of my run, I found the game to be incredibly easy, way too easy. I was a little confused. I thought, geez, how long is it going to be this simple? But near the end of the run, things started to get really, really hectic. By the time I died, I was just thinking, well, of course I died. There was no way I was going to make it any farther than that. I mean, the enemies were coming in hordes. Their health bars were gigantic. Oh, by the way, this is the kind of game where you're shooting things and little numbers are popping off and they have health bars. So if you like that, that's a big plus. I will say I do like that a lot. I think that's always fun in a game. You gotta love taking shots at enemies, especially headshots or weak point shots. You see a different color number. Ooh, I don't know what it is, but that does something for me, man. This game is in early access, as I said before, and just because it's in early access doesn't mean it doesn't play extremely well. I think this game plays very well, and I do think it feels a little thin, perhaps. Overall, okay. So here's my thought here. If someone were to ask me if they need to buy Arcadegeddon, right now I feel like my answer would be maybe. Maybe. If you really like the idea of what I'm saying, if you really like playing a rogue-like game in this fashion, maybe. There were moments in the runs that I played that were a ton of fun. I played single-player runs and multiplayer runs, and I'll talk a little bit about both of them. I'll start with the single-player run, which is where I actually had the most fun. Now, your mileage, of course, could vary. It all depends on whether you're playing with friends or not and how you like to play games like this. So for me, when I was playing alone, I actually preferred that a lot because I was able to take my time, go through the level, smash open all the crates and get all the resources that I could, find all the weapons that I could, search around for hidden chests. When I played with a random person that matchmaking paired me with, I quickly found that it was either I wanted to go further than they did, or they were blazing ahead of me. You know, they would open chests and I wouldn't necessarily see them open them. And then I would find the chest a little later and they had already started picking through the guns. At least, again, that's what it seemed like. That's what it seemed like as I was playing multiplayer. As I was playing the multiplayer in this, the whole time I just thought, I really prefer playing this alone. I really, really do. And to this game's credit, I think both are totally viable options. They have a leaderboard inside this game, and they have different sections for singles, duos, triples, and quads. What is the triple word for that? Trays? So I'm getting off track, which I love to do apparently. In the single run, I was actually having a really good time. But I will say once I completed the run, the thought of going back in and doing that all again, finding a different setup of weapons and a different setup of hacks. I'll talk a little bit more about hacks and power-ups and some of the different weapons here in a sec. But you know, I wasn't super excited about doing another run. And I think that's one of the biggest things that you want out of a game like this, right? You want to feel like, oh man, I can't wait to do a run. This time, I'm going to try to get this power up. I'm going to try to do this. I remember feeling like that in Hades and Returnal. In Hades, I would be thinking, oh yeah, next time I want to see what combinations of powers I can get from the gods. And in Returnal, I would always go, okay, next run, I'm going to make sure that I get, plenty of health in the first biome. And then, hopefully I find a gun I like the Electropylon driver or something like that. And that'll get me through all the way to the final boss. So I felt like after playing this, I had fun. It was also really long, a really, really long run. Again, it was almost over an hour on this one single run. And I didn't feel super compelled to hop back in. The only meta progression that I saw in the game were more powers for your gauntlet, which do seem pretty cool, and cosmetics. So that was it. I love a game with a good amount of meta progression, and I'm sure there will be more as this game continues to come out. It's in early access right now, but I felt like from playing this, we are getting a really good glimpse of what this game is going to feel like as a full-fledged game. And since I can't talk about what it's going to be like as a full-fledged game, I can only talk about what I've played so far. Well, if you're thinking about picking it up right now, these opinions matter. Whew, these opinions matter. What a cool guy I am. So I told you I was going to talk about hacks. Let's talk about hacks. Inside of a run, you find these little data chip looking things. They kind of look like a cartridge from a Nintendo DS or a floppy disk or something like that. And they give you passive bonuses for your entire run. So there'll be things like increased health as a percentage, increased shield as a percentage, shield recharge rate, faster firing. There are a ton of different hacks that you can pick up. And Your run's success might be, I haven't played enough to guarantee this, but it might be based on those bonuses. If you've played a lot of games that are roguelike, you know that some runs you're just really not getting a lot of the things you want, and other runs you're kind of getting a build that is very, very potent. So as you're going through, you're picking up these hacks, and they can be found in crates, and they can also be found in chests, which is one of the reasons that I liked going at my own pace, because I felt like if I was missing these hacks inside these chests and things like that, that I'd be bummed when my partner is kind of blazing through the level a lot faster than me. Again, I think if you're playing with friends, this won't be that big of a deal, but playing alone and match made with a random person, I don't know if that's going to be the most ideal way to play this game. I think you're either going to be frustrated or frustrating to whoever you match with. One of the next most important things inside your run are the weapons that you have. And I checked, it's not 20 different weapons. There are actually 30 different weapons you can pick up that are, again, variations of many things you've seen. I thought some of them were really cool. I had a laser beam that was almost like holding a concentrated beam of a laser pointer on someone until they fried. I had guns that lit people on fire, rocket launchers that turned people into ice, shotguns that shot electric plasma bolts, and a shiny metal bat that made me feel like Harley Quinn. And I will say, I actually really liked the melee weapon in this. It's weird because I'm walking away from this and my thoughts on it are pretty mixed, if I'm being honest, but there were a lot of moments that I thought were pretty cool. I'm just not super compelled to go back. You ever felt like that, where maybe you went to a restaurant or something and you thought that was pretty good, and someone goes, "Do I gotta go there?" And you go, it was good. You know, it was good. The gauntlet that you have in it lets you have an ability. It lets you actually have two abilities inside of a match. You start with the fireball ability that launches a giant blast of fire in a straight path in front of you and can lay to waste a ton of enemies at once. It's a very cool ability, and it charges by you killing regular enemies as well as breaking open crates. So you actually get to use your powers quite often, and I like that because it's a really strong ability and can help you deal with large waves of enemies. I have not unlocked enough other powers to really say anything about them. There are a lot of different things that you end up doing in this, and then there are a lot of the same things that you end up doing in this, and that's pretty common of a game this nature. You know, every type of game like this, you're kind of doing the same thing. You know, when you're playing Darkest Dungeon, you're playing FTL, you're going on the same runs over and over again. It's just whether or not that loop, that combat loop, that loot loop, the way you gain experience, the meta progression in it, that's what's going to decide whether you keep coming back over and over again. Let me talk briefly about my experience playing with another player. Again, I didn't love it. It's not my cup of tea, but I bet I would have had a lot of fun playing with a friend. However, you know, I really enjoyed playing Diablo 3 by myself. I really enjoyed playing Borderlands 2 by myself. I really enjoyed playing, obviously, Returnal, Hades, things like that. They are single-player games. So maybe it's just the way that I like to play these games. Maybe I'm so meticulous and I need to make sure that I'm picking up the right items. Maybe for me, I need to play these alone. A couple cool things about playing together. Very much like a lot of roguelike games, there are sort of these safe haven stopping points where you can spend your credits or whatever the money is called in this world. It's probably called like EDM bucks or something like that, DJ bucks. This whole world, by the way, the music in it at first is, I don't want to criticize someone's music taste because everyone likes different things. And I'm sure someone could listen to me, you know, listening to Taylor Swift or something for the millionth time and think, wow, Jake, your taste in music is terrible. So I don't want to criticize someone's taste in music. At first, I really liked the music in this game just because it was so different. It was like I was at a dance club. But the more I listened to it and the more the same beats came on, I just thought, boy, I do not like the music in this game much. In fact, A lot of the game feels like, I don't know if this will make sense to you. This video game looks like the fake video game that you see in a movie. Like when a kid's playing some crazy game and it's going shotgun. Like when that's happening in a movie, and you think this is a weird looking game, but this is apparently what a movie producer and a movie studio thinks video games are like. This game kind of delivers on that premise. I hope that kind of makes sense. One cool thing that was happening was inside those little safe zones, there was a competitive multiplayer mode. It was really brief and it was pretty fun. There was a mode that felt like that final level in Fall Guys where the floor keeps falling out and you have multiple levels you can drop through, except the difference in this is you shoot the tiles out from under your partner. So it's just kind of a brief little PvP moment, but it's very lighthearted. No one's going to get upset at what's happening inside of it. I thought that was pretty cool, and it does award you with something. It awarded me with a hack for playing that mode. So I thought that was kind of a fun, novel way to do that and have a little almost mini game inside playing multiplayer. So that was pretty cool. What else was pretty cool about playing multiplayer? Yeah. Going back to my notes here, I'm not really seeing anything else I loved about playing it in multiplayer. Had way more fun in single player. And if you're anything like me, you'll probably get a lot of mileage out of the single player run aspect of it as opposed to the multiplayer run aspect of it. Then again, maybe you will love the sort of chaotic nature and you'll be the person running far ahead. I also think if you're the kind of person who's looking for good teammates, this might be a game that will frustrate the heck out of you, because I think no two people are going to want to do a run the same way. If you're playing multiplayer, it's probably a play with friends situation. So I feel like I've talked a lot about this game, and there's more to talk about. I think the art style is pretty cool. You know, customizing your character is interesting, but you have to complete these quests that you get from NPCs inside sort of your hub world to get a lot of the cosmetics, and then you can also get them from buying from the shop. I guess I just leave with the feeling of I can't fully recommend this game. And maybe that's why it's in early access. Maybe it needs some time. But if someone were to ask me right now, do I need to buy this game? If everything I've described to you sounds like a winner and you like the footage that you're seeing, I say hop in there, check it out. But overall, I'm a little torn on it, honestly. I'm a little torn on it. So let me know what you think in the comments. Are you playing? Have you seen someone play it? What do you think? Do you think this is the kind of game for you? If so, I would love to hear if you're loving it. I think I would really be interested in seeing that. It plays well. It's fun. It's arcadey. It feels like I'm Neo at the beginning of the Matrix. I should be blasting music and playing this with my sunglasses on, but that's my thoughts. Those are my takes, my hot takes on this game. Is it worth it right now? I might wait. That's my overall thought. I'd probably wait. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I do plan on playing this game more, and if my opinions change, I will absolutely make a follow-up video. Thank you all. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Mwah!